Welcome back. Tonight, we're going to do a deep dive into the new Google Stitch version 2.0. This just recently came out, and I've been using it as a Figma replacement, and I decided I'm going to do a really deep dive into it to show you guys all the granular details that you can do with this. And then we're also going to tie a vibe code into Anti-Gravity by Google and also a Flutter plugin utilizing Android Studio. So we're going to kind of keep it all in the Google ecosystem. If I wanted to, I could tie it back into Firebase, but we'll just keep it simple. We'll just do a local SQL database on this one. So let's get started. So here's what the end result is that we're going to try to shoot for. So what you want to do first is you want to go to Google Gemini and you want to describe what you're looking for the application. You want Google Gemini to write the prompt for you, right? So, and then from there, what it'll do is it'll bring something out just about like this, where it'll talk about each screen. You tell it to be very detailed, right? And so here's our goal: build a 3-page minimalist Zen-Tech habit stacking app called ZenStack, right? For mobile, right? And then we've got all the details there. So we're going to copy that over to Stitch. And what we'll show you is we start here, go to all projects. Here's the main chat prompt window. This is where you start. And the first thing you want to make sure that you're on is the Pro edition, right? I've tried the other ones. I don't think they're very good. You get much higher quality with the Pro. So let's go ahead and dump this in. It asks us if it's an app or a web. We're going to build an app. So let's do Control V. Okay, let's hit generate. And that's going to take us to the chat window. And you can see it's going to generate 3 windows for us, 3 different screens for our app. So based off the instructions. But let's go back while this is, this should take about 3 minutes, by the way. But let's go back to a project that we've already completed. So I can show you guys that. And we can walk through that. Here we go. Okay, so basically what we did was a very just clean, minimal look here. And as you can see, we were doing like basically a habit to-do list. You reached 20% of our daily goal. We had a chart showing our progress, 48 habits completed. And then we had like a reward system. Each day you get 10 points. And we have a points wallet, 130 points. And you exchange them for your own rewards: a day at the spa, new journal, or a tea ceremony. So as you can see, we've got a nice clean looking screen here. At the end, what we'll do is we'll copy this over to Anti-Gravity. We'll utilize Flutter to build the directories out, and we'll see how well Anti-Gravity can copy these screens. So let's go in and start showing you guys how the different functions work inside Google Stitch. So the first thing you'll notice here is the hamburger menu on the left. And as you saw before, we went to all projects. You can share a project. This is nice if your teams build it working together. They have annotation on there as well. So if you wanted to make a note for one of your team members to, hey, take a look at this, your progress screen, and make some changes. You can download your project. The export feature is really cool because it can actually tie into AI Studio for you, and you can actually build a minimal viable project right there. You can make a copy of the project. That way you can have some version control there. If you want to copy different things, you get your settings. And down here you get your prompt. With the prompt, what you can do is you can go ahead and highlight a screen that you've already done and said, right, and said, there it goes. It's right in the prompt for you. And then you can talk about that screen right there. So I could say, hey, change that plus sign to blue or whatever, and it will do it. So the other thing that you can do in the prompt is you can tie a URL in here. And so what you can do here is you can say, here's my jezdigital.com, right? And I could write in there, hey, go pull the color scheme from jezdigital.com and utilize that color scheme in my new app. And so my colors are orange and blue. It'll go out there. It'll try to match them the best they can. And it will go through and change the entire app to look a lot more like my website. So now let's take a look at this grid here we've got. Down here at the bottom, we've got the way you can select it. You can pan, so you can move the screen around like this, right? You got zoom in, zoom out, and you can also upload files to Canvas right from here. Down here, you got another zoom feature, zoom in, zoom out. Okay. Now, the other thing that you can do here is then highlight individual screens that you see. And let's take a look at this. So let's go ahead and highlight it with the select button first. Now you can either highlight one, or you can go ahead and highlight all three by just clicking it like that. Now all three things are highlighted. Now, some really nice features here are you've got a prototype, right? So what it'll do is we'll go ahead and build that. And what that'll do is it'll create almost like a little mini emulation. It doesn't really work. It's more just how it'll look on the phone. And so it'll kind of give you a look and feel like the first three screens. If you build it on Android, that's what it'll look like. So and then you've got some edit features here. Uh, you've got the edit the theme, which will take a look at your different colors that you can use. You can round the edges, you can square the edges, right? You can change your fonts here. Okay. Let's go ahead and select those again. You can move this around your screen. You can center it, align it to the left, align it to the right. Okay. Um, Here's the export that I was speaking of earlier, right here. You go to export, and this is pretty cool. This AI Studio right here, what this will do is this will fire this up, and you can actually build like a little MVP for it, little minimal viable project. And so we can say, make this real. Okay. All right. We can go into AI Studio. You can see that. And what it does is it brings all the HTML and the PNG over. Now, also, you could also download this. And when it downloads it, it'll do the same thing. So if you want to download it and maybe put it in Claude Code Cursor or something like that, you can do a download. It'll create a zip file. And what that zip file does is it'll actually create you PNGs and HTML files. So we'll say, go ahead and build this right here. We'll let that run while we're going back through Stitch here. And here we go. We got the prototype created. So you can see over here, we just select it, click on it, and we do interact with it. Okay, let's see, there we go. The menu at the bottom. Okay, so you got the different things like a sanctuary screen, which is like settings. I'd probably rename that to settings, right? Uh, your journey, where you're at. You can see, you scroll down, you see the chart there, and you got your today. So it lets you check and uncheck, do some nice basics. Let's see if it'll change the journey. Nope, it's not that animated yet. So, okay, so right there, that'll let you do that. You could restart it. You can edit the prototype, right? This is kind of neat. The show QR code. You can also do this with screens. It'll create a QR code. You could take your camera out. You can take a highlight of it, and it'll throw an image over to your phone, so you can kind of look at what it'd look like on your cell phone. You can size this differently for mobile, tablet, or desktop. Okay. We already showed you the export, download are kind of the same. You can also look at the HTML right here, view code. So right there's a code for it. There's your HTML. You can copy code, change code right there. All right. The other thing you can do here is you can highlight it, choose edit, or right click on it. And here's all your function keys here. You got the delete, which I use a lot, focus, right? Brings it into the center of the screen. You can copy it, paste it. For the prototypes, you can restart it, interact with it, show QR code. We went over that. And we'll delete this. We'll go focus on the other ones. Okay. And let's go pan this over. All right. So, and then like we saw the menu there. So let's say we wanted to change that from sanctuary to settings. What you do is you go here, you highlight everything, right? You say change all three menus, all three screens, menu from sanctuary to settings. Okay. And what you'll do is you'll just hit the enter key here. Oh, I'll make sure we don't have anything in there. Don't want to screw that up. There we go. All right. And then we would hit change. Now, here's something else you can do is you can do variations. And what this is for is like, if you want to look at like fonts and you don't want to go through one screen at a time and you want to take a look at what it looked like if you changed the screens, let's say 4 or 5 times, you can change this variations here to like 5x, and you can say, show me 5 different fonts on how this would look. And it'll go build you 5 different fonts. You can say change colors, change the type, change the style, whatever you're looking for. It's right here. Create variations. We're going to turn that off for now, though. And always make sure, by the way, you're in Pro. It works the best. And so let's go ahead and do this, and you'll see this. It's going to say working on it. Normally it takes about 3 minutes to build this, and you'll see this. It'll create like a space in between each one of these with its changes. And you should see it change from sanctuary to settings. So we'll see, hopefully that works correctly. But, we put that prompt in when we first started the video. Let's see how close we got to this based off that prompt that we built. Okay, so let's go over here. Let's go back to projects. Here we got daily focus. All right. Actually, I think that's the one we're working on. Okay, so let's go back to go to projects. There we go. Okay, so this was that prompt that you'll remember we started at the very beginning. So we got some stuff slightly off here. We don't have the menus aren't set. We've got other things that we can correct. But the screens that I showed you, I had edited a little bit. They start out about like this, and then you go through it and you just highlight it, and you go through it, and then you'll talk about, hey, take that menu and change the menu, right? I only want the home. I want the journey insights. I want the sanctuary, all in the same menu. It'll do that. You say, hey, I want the plus sign to be blue, right? Or something like that. I want the plus sign to be blue. And hey, one nice thing about Google Stitch is you get about 600 of these prompts per day. So if you change 3 screens at once, it counts as 3. So I have not ran out of credits with this, and this is in beta mode currently. So it's free. Let's say I want the plus sign to be blue. Okay, so we'll go ahead and edit there, and then I want 3 different iterations. Actually, just we'll say show me different text. Actually, instead, different font. Okay, and we'll do 3 iterations down here. All right. And so what's kind of nice about this is you can be working on multiple things at once. It's just like vibe coding, where you have the command line interface up, and you'll be working on, one part of the project, and you'll have another CLI open. You'll be working on the other while that's processing. Same thing with this. You work on different screens, work on different projects as that's processing, because each one of these processes takes about 3 minutes. So let's go back here, okay, and take a look at this, right? Oh, did that again. Okay, so here you go. We've changed that to settings. Okay, and that looks pretty good, right? Mix the order up a little bit. So what you can do now is just, I'm going to highlight all 3 of these, the old ones, because this new one looks pretty good, right? I'm going to highlight all those. I'm going to choose delete just to get them off my screen. And I'm going to move this over. You can see the nice grid lines here, so you can match it up to the top, right? Let's see. I'm going to do it in this, and that in the middle. There you go. There you go, grid lines. That's fairly close. All right, there you go. And then we can go ahead and focus this, zoom to fit. Okay, so now we've taken a look at that. Let's take a look at this, where you can say up here at the top, what you can do is you can highlight this. And some of the other things that you can do is, let's see, over here under edit, here's your annotation that I spoke about earlier, right? You can generate variations. So here you go. Now with the variations, I can choose, I want 5 variations. I want to give it more custom instructions here. And now here you can look color scheme, right? Images, right? Font, layout, all these different things. All you got to do is go ahead and highlight those and go ahead and choose what you want, and it'll make those iterations for you. So let's go ahead and we'll do, let's see, 3 iterations of that. So we come up here and generate to variations. And what we'll do is we'll look at 3 different color schemes, okay? And then we'll let that cook, and we'll come back. So all that's going to do is it's going to throw out right here, it's the 3 screens. About 3 minutes, it'll give us some different color options. So maybe there's a different color options that we'd like to try. This gives us a nice, chance to look over different options that we may have. So I used to do a lot of stuff in like, Banana, Figma, just kind of a hodgepodge of different things. I've just been straight using Google Stitch since version 2.0 came out. This has just been fantastic. I think they've done a great job with it. And when I dump this into Claude Code, it's amazing. I mean, I got so many times where it's just like perfect the first time I try it. Let's go back to these projects here. Okay, so now here you can see this. Let's zoom in here a little bit. Okay, let's pan over. Let's see how these look. Told it to change the font some. Right, here we go. So that's kind of nice. I like it. I don't know which one my favorite is. Probably this one. It stands out the best, right? So I would tell it if a box like eat greens are checked, go ahead and run a red line through that. That might be one of the things we edit here. So let's take a look at this, pan over. So this is the original one. The original one's always on the left. Okay. That's kind of nice and clean. I might like the original one the best, actually, or this. But that shows you how you can do your quick variations and your look at the different variants. Um, so let's go back and check out the original screen that we had done. And I will show you real quick on how to take this over to Google Gemini. We're have it write our prompt for anti-gravity. So let's go back over here to go to all projects. Okay. And we've got the daily focus app. Okay, you can see this. Okay, so this one did the different colors for us. You remember that? So let's go ahead and zoom in on this. Let's go pan this over. Right, let's go zoom in. Oops, zoom out. Okay, so you can see we tried some different colors here. Pretty much like the one that we originally started with. To me, it's just nice and clean. So we would actually keep that. So what you do at the end, you just go ahead and you just highlight this other stuff that you don't want. Well, it's good try. And you just delete it. Okay. And then you just say, highlight this, right? What we'll do is we'll zoom out, bring all these together a little bit here. All right, let's go ahead and highlight those two, just bring that right over for us. Okay, and then we do back to zoom to fit. Now from here, all you'll do is, I'll pan this up just a hair. And all you'll do from here is just do your screenshot. So that would be my shift command, right? I'd go ahead and highlight this, Okay, now I'd take this into Gemini, and I've already done this. So, and from here, what I do is, oh, by the way, this is the AI Studio. This is what we were working on before where I did the export. So as you can see, it built like a minimal viable project right here. So we've got that. Nice. So it's working. Right, you got your journey. That's pretty good. Yeah, oh, and it changed it. Nice. So let's see if it changes it. Journey. There you go. Look at that. Did pretty good, right? 40 habits for the week. Sanctuary. Your goals, 10 points. All right. Let's see if it doesn't do much besides that, but you can add other customer rewards. That's not done yet. So this is stuff where we go into the prompt here and say, hey, change this to the plus sign so we can add more rewards, right? So there's still a little bit of legwork on your part to do. Okay, so, and then here you can choose the code and see what that is. All that's in HTML, I believe. And you got your GitHub back here, sync to GitHub. And this is just AI Studio, so it'll even be better in anti-gravity, hopefully. So let's go take a look at that. Okay, once again, let's go over, once you have your final product created and a screenshot of your images done in Google Stitch, you'll copy that over, input it into Google Gemini, and ask it to write a prompt for you and give it details like, hey, I want to write it to a local SQL, or if you want to attach it to Firebase, whatever your details are on the SQL side, you want to tell it to be very detailed. You want to tell it everything that you can think of, and then say, be very detailed, ask me any questions that I may have missed, because you want a really good prompt. Okay, so this is the prompt that we've got. Let's go ahead and copy that. And then the first thing that you're going to do here is go into Android Studio, and we're going to create a new Flutter project. And ironically, this is like the fourth time I filmed this. The first time I didn't, it crashed. The second time I didn't have the mic on, and the fourth time crashed again. So I think it's weird. I'm AT&T fiber. Normally it's great. I don't know if it was my internet, Google, or what, but anyhow, we're going to just call this, let's see, habits 4. Okay. Lucky number 4. And we're going to come down here. By the way, that has to be lowercase. Here we're just going to do Android for this. We're going to keep it simple. Okay. And this is going to build our folder structure for us. You'll see right here. It's also where we're going to launch our emulators. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go into anti-gravity. We're going to choose open folder. And we're going to find that new habit 4 folder that we created under test. Okay. Right there is habit 4. Okay. Choose open right there. And now what we're going to do is we're going to run this in like an agent manager. So that's going to be Command E on a MacBook. All right. Now what we're ready to do is put our prompt in here, but we're also going to want to copy the image over. Okay. So I've got that up here. All right. There we go. And so the next thing inside of anti-gravity that you want to check, because this is a bug, it always goes to your last workspace that you were in. So this was habits 3 that we've been testing. So we want to make sure it's in habits 4, which is the correct folder. The other thing that you always want to make sure you're in Gemini 3 Pro, which is the best for anti-gravity. You always want to use this until you run out of tokens for the month. And I've done that before. So we're going to go into planning mode. Okay. And now what we're going to do is just hit the go button. And there it goes. Nice thing about anti-gravity versus Claude Code is you'll see down here you get the microphone button. That's really nice. You know, a lot of people spend $15 a month on dictation software like WhisperFlow. I wrote something in a previous video where I just did a local application, just did a dictation software. I wrote it in Claude Code, and I wrote it kind of just like this. Went into Google Stitch, kind of built a screen, you know, and so saves me $15 a month. But I don't have to use it when I'm in anti-gravity. I really just use it for Claude Code and a couple other IDEs. Okay, so you can see this is building it. It's come up with our implementation plan here, which is really nice. It hasn't asked us any questions yet, so and we've got set to always proceed. So we're basically trying to one-shot this. So it's always a vibe coder's dream is to get a one-shot to where it's just it builds it and it runs the first time, and then all we got to do is tweak it and edit it. That's the best. So why we wait for this, let's go back to Android Studio. What we're going to do next is to go into Device Manager here. Okay. We're going to restart this. So I'm going to shut that down. But in Device Manager, normally you wouldn't have that running. And this is where you're going to pick your Android phone. I can test with the Pixel 9 Pro. I could test with like just a Pixel 8. You know, it's really nice if you're doing like a big time implementation to where you want to test with, you know, iPhones, Pixels, and you want to like, if we got a guy using a Pixel 5 or 6, can it still run, right? This is where you set the emulator. And here it is where you can add devices to it, right? You just say create the virtual device here, and you just select it from the list. So we'll go ahead and start this up. And this is going to start our emulator like right there. And there you go. And that is our old one. So we're going to have to cold boot this. So what that did was that opened a previous one that we already done. And so what we want to do is we want to stop it. It's going to shut it off, right? And let's see if we cold boot it. Nope, we're going to have to do it a different way. So let's go into not running devices, I'm sorry. Let's go to stop it here. I always like a clean start right there so that I don't get any bugs that is related to that. So over here, there's 3 dots in Flutter. You got this thing called a cold boot. Okay, go ahead and hit cold boot. And all that's going to do is restart my Pixel 9 Pro, right? And the next time I open it up, it's going to take it to the home screen. So right there, you can see it's booting up for me. And so this just makes sure that you don't have any bugs that are related to the other app you were testing. I like just a clean environment. So, and there we go. We're ready to test here. So what this will do is this will fire up here, and then we'll select Pixel 9 Pro. And once the app says it's ready, you got main.dart. We'll fire that off by hitting the play button, and that'll load it right here. So let's go see where we're at with anti-gravity. Okay, so it says it had a retrying habit repository update and creating insight screen. Okay, so insight screen is one of our screens that we've created. So let's see. So what's it doing? Oh, it had some problems with that line chart, that little line chart and the progress ring. Okay, so the habit repository. Okay, so we're moving along. That looked like the second of the 3 screens. So we're getting closer. All right, so you can see it's going out there. I see RiverPod. All right, and I noticed it said it was installing something. So I think that was referring to the graphs. So we're moving along quite nicely here. So looks good. There's our Dart file. Now the Dart file, that just means it's a plugin, a Flutter plugin on Android Studio. So where are we here? We're retrying the habit repository update. Okay. Implementing feature and fixing lints, whatever that means. So, all right. So now it's building that habit screen. Okay. So we should almost be done here. So this is moving a lot better than before. Now, a bug that I did experience today for the first time ever was, I think what happened was either my internet crashed or I had a problem inside anti-gravity, but it basically said, I'm using the wrong version. I went and checked. I said, check for updates. I just recently updated it. And it said, nope, you're at the most current version. So I actually had to go out, and this was before I knew my internet was out. I think the internet was out was the problem. It just gave me the wrong error. So if you ever get that where it says do an update, check your internet first before you upgrade. So it was either that or I had to upgrade, which is weird. And when I mean upgrade, I meant I had to uninstall it and reinstall it. So because there was no upgrade I could run, but at least everything got fixed and we're running. So I tested this earlier too, and it got fairly close the first time. It was actually functional with no errors. So kind of excited to see how close we are this time. But that time when I tested it, I didn't have my mic in front of my face. So it would have sounded horrible. So we're going to piece these 2 pieces together. I had first recorded the Google Stitch section. Oh, there it goes. And then I had the crash in the middle of this. Then I had the mic crash. I had it all. This video is taking me way too long. Okay, so let's go back to this. Okay, it says we're ready to test. All right. So all right. Now, if we get any bugs, one nice thing about this, that these could be informational bugs, by the way. If we get any bugs here, that actually looks like a real bug. Okay, getting bugs. This is gonna be good. So let's do this. We're gonna copy this back and say I got bugs. Right. We're gonna go tell anti-gravity. I got errors in the log, and let's give it that. All right. Let's see what it says. So it's going to generate. It's going to try to fix this. Like I said, this was the second time I ran this today. The first time it actually one-shotted, which means I had no errors, and it was actually fully functional. There's some nice to haves that we could switch, obviously, but it's always exciting when you get like no errors. So it's going to run this again. So, but it was, fortunate for you guys. You could see how we, debug this really quick. All you got to do is copy those error messages in the bottom. Okay, well, it says it found 49 issues, so that was quite a bit. Okay, so it says here it's updating app theme to use carb theme data instead of. Okay, so I fixed the build error. Okay, so let's try it again. It says to try it again. So let's go back to Android Studio here, and let's second time is the charm. I think that's what they say. So unless it's our third time, which it could be. With the way today's going, it's possible. So, all right. So we've got and you'll notice the first time it loads, it's pretty slow. Okay, we got the Flutter icon there. That's always good. Okay, great. So this time, this is better. And let's go ahead and, okay, that looks about like the first time it ran. Now you'll notice it's not exact, right? But let's see, I can uncheck, a habit that we did. Let's go check out the journey here. So the daily goal is not quite there. The graph wasn't there. On the first time I did this, the graph was actually there. So we could go back. This is where you tweak it. You go, hey, daily goal's not working, right? And the first time I did this, it was actually working. So settings, that actually looks pretty close. You know what? Let me do this and come back here. And let me hit stop here. Okay, let me switch to habit 3, because this is what I did earlier. Okay, we'll do new window here. All right, this is what I did earlier. Let me show you this. Run this quick. Okay, so I'll show you. I did the exact same prompt. Oh, that was Mac OS. That was my fault. You got to choose the right emulator here. Okay, let's try that again. So, by the way, what happened there was I chose the wrong emulator. By default, it chooses Mac OS, right? And so you got to choose the right emulator. That's all that error was. Now, I did the exact same prompt, except this one got closer. So you'll notice here on the journey, look at this. It says 40%. We'll go back here. We'll uncheck this. Look at that. See? That actually worked. We got start of a line chart here, right? Let's see. Oh, no, it actually didn't work. It kept saying 40%, 40%. So there's 40. Let's see if we go up to 60. Now, I didn't do a line through it, so we'd have to go tell it to fix that, right? Nope, it's stuck at 40. So that first shot wasn't much better, right? Here's our reward screen, right? Let's see if that works. Nope, that's the dark mode. That doesn't work. Okay, so we got our work to do here, but it's to the point where it's workable. At least we didn't get that error that we'd gotten previously. So, and then all you do in anti-gravity is banter back and forth with the anti-gravity, and you guys say, hey, fix that, fix the percentages complete, fix the daily goal, so it looks at the main page. So, all you do is go back here to anti-gravity, and you say, the percentage complete. What was that called? Let's go back to Android Studio here. What do we call that? Running devices here. Let's go and look at this. There it is. The percent daily goal under your progress. All right. All right. All right. Let me talk to it here. Your progress percentages isn't working. That should take the main screen, and if 3 of them are complete, it should say that 3 of the 5 are done. So we're 60% completed for the day, and so that should say 60% is completed. All right. All right. So what we do is we just send it right there. It's going to read our audio file that we just sent it, right? And it's going to generate, and it should go out there, try to fix it. We're going to have to rebuild it. We're going to have to stop. And, hopefully it fixes that. And that's what you got to do. Now, all I got to do is the hard work, which is just piece by piece debug this. And, that's it. So drop a like and subscribe, and ask me any questions that you guys have, in the comments below, and I'd love to answer it for you guys. But I hope you enjoyed the video. If you got any questions, like I said, just try to contact me through the comment section. I will be more than happy to help you guys. And comment what you guys want to see next time. So here we go. It's running. So but I don't think it was a too bad of a test on anti-gravity. So I don't think we're quite to cursor level for an IDE yet, and it can't program quite where, Claude Code is, but it's getting closer. I'll tell you, Gemini, their whole product line, everything they do is just fantastic, especially the Google Stitch. That one amazes me. But there you go. It's running. Let's see if it did fix it. It's checking for updates. Running terminal commands. All right, so we're about done here. Let's go ahead and exit this. Okay, let's stop that. Let's go back to habits 4. Okay, let's go see if our device is running. There we go. Stop that. And let's go cold. We're going to stop it that way, and we're going to hit play again. Now we got a fresh start. Okay, let's see if it fixed that bug yet. Okay, there it goes. Okay, I fixed the progress percentages. So, okay, let's go back here. Hit play again. Oops. Let's do, I'll tell you what. It's set for Chrome. Let's go to Pixel 9. Okay, so your running devices here. There we go. Loading Flutter. So what we're seeing is, did it fix? Are we at 40? Should go to 60. There we go. It fixed it. So there you go. So the rest of it's 3 of 5 habits completed. It's getting better. Scroll's not working here. So, but 3 habits, that's calculating correctly. But, we're on our way. So, not a bad first iteration here. So, thanks again for watching. We'll see you guys tomorrow night. Thanks. Bye-bye.